Not Rings of Power. Rings of Power is very thoughtful.
Quite thoughtful, I must add.
Listen, it's very romantic fantasy. They did a wonderful job. They spent a fortune on it. They spent like $750 million on it, dude.
Yeah, but how many episodes is that?
9 episodes. That's some big money. If I want to make an anime, Anthony, it would cost me $250,000 for 10 episodes of an anime. And I'm not sure if that includes me hiring writers and voice actors. I mean, I'm assuming because that is two freaking $50 an episode.
You ready? You ready?
That face was horrible.
Yeah, it was horrible.
It got you out of it, though, didn't it?
No, I could keep going.
It worked, right?
I've had men make worse faces.
And action.
Hey, sluts.
No. All right. 5. What's good, Council of Comics? We're doing the Rings of Power, episode 7. I know you thought we were going to do 2, but we're going to do 1 because it was really that great. It's great. Let's go. Yeah. Shout out to Madness.
Yeah. Rogue Nation 845. Bro.
So, Rings of Power, episode 7.
Yep.
The best episode so far, in my opinion.
I don't know. Last one was really good, too.
It was, but not even from a point of action this episode, but of character development.
The character building was so strong here.
Yes.
So, who do you think the stranger is? The one with the Harfoots?
They've got to deal with... They know who that Gandalf guy is, I think. You know what I mean? And they're not good people. Because me and Kamari are like, we wonder if they're good people. And they burn down the village. And we're like, all right, so they're not good people. You know what I mean? So they mean business.
I think, now that we saw the flowers growing from the old tree that he like used his magic on, I'm still thinking he's Radagast.
Oh, he could be Radagast.
Now, if he's not Radagast, I have in my notes. Well, let's see. They went into Mirkwood.
Well,
I still think it's Radagast.
How it happens is from the last episode, Mount Doom explodes. And
creates
all these
Mordor.
things, yeah, it creates Mordor, which they have a nice little scene at the end of this. But it shoots out fire and rock. And some of these fire and rock landed on the place where the Harfoots were going and destroys all the trees and vegetation, and they think life is done. And this Starman, that we'll call him, we don't know who he is.
The stranger.
Yes, he goes to the tree. He starts saying some like spell stuff, and he ends up leaving. But what happens is you see a little flower grow on the tree, and he's actually brought life back to the whole area. So
that leaves me with my theory of Radagast. For those of you who know any of the lore, it's Radagast the Brown, right?
Yes, Radagast
but
the
he
Brown.
ends up being he ends up like, it's really complicated how the other wizards feel about him because he ends up devoting himself entirely to druidic magic, which is just not a wizard thing to do. But at some point he was told, you know, you've got to protect nature, and he's just like, this is my whole mission now, so I am a wizard because this is my mission. Like, I'm protecting nature. So they are headed into Mirkwood at this point,
right? And then we also start off the episode with the aftermath
of the volcano. Yes.
Which was horrifying, I thought. I was like, can you imagine a place being so beautiful and so green, and then one incident happens, and now you can barely see. It's all covered in like smoke and flame. You could feel the desperation.
The sky is blackened out heavily.
You could feel the desperation for all that, and that the sky's blacked out. So the orcs now they can walk around whenever they want. Galadriel is alive.
Theo is alive.
Theo's mom is alive. But Isidro, right? He is alive, but there's a scene where it looks like a house falls on top of him. And they don't show him anymore for the episode. And it's thought of that he's dead. And it's like a touching scene with the horse. So they're trying to bring the horse back to Numenor. And his horse is like, no, I'm not trying to be with y'all, and they let him go, and the horse goes running off. Which me, I would have been like, send 2 soldiers after that horse and see where it's going so fast. You know what I mean? But they didn't do that.
Yeah, no, of course not. Because even though they're hundreds of years old, their ability to use common sense is like terrible.
Yeah.
It's so funny that they're so. I must think that even though they're so old, their minds develop as slowly,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like they're just acting the age that they would be if like in a dog years comparison. Like we
Yeah.
live in dog years compared to them,
Yeah.
so like, but some of them are really brilliant and thoughtful among their years, but woof.
Yeah. So they find the queen, and I thought it was a great scene where she was asking questions.
Yes.
Like, how long do we get to there? And I'm sitting watching with Kamara. I'm like, yo, she's getting annoying with these questions. What's going on? And then when she says the smoke thing and he stops, I'm like, oh.
And she's like, how long have we been away from it?
yeah, like she was trying to pretend like she could see, but they catch on to the game that she's not blind, but
she's-
everything is very dark gray.
Yeah.
So
Well, she's basically blind because like, I mean, she just says everything is gray. So we don't know if this is the final fate for her
Yeah.
sight, but it's rough.
yeah, and the guy who's in charge of the armies and all that, he hates Galadriel now. He wants nothing to do with Galadriel.
Which is kind of funny, being what comes next when they
Yeah.
meet up.
Yeah. And then we'll skip to that. He goes. The queen is at the top of the mountain. Galadriel comes. They have a conversation, and it comes to find out that the queen is inspired even more to come back with her ships from Numenor. She pledges to come back and team up with the elves.
Right.
And-
She pledges. She creates an oath
Mhm.
with Galadriel.
Mhm.
Like they form. Like she's just like, I came here. I witnessed the evil. The evil's real, and we're gonna come back stronger. And meantime, their dude, their kingsman is like, oh my god.
turns away from the camera.
Like
and
he's
starts
like,
crying.
yeah, he's like crying because he's like, this place is nothing but death.
Yeah.
Because
his son, he thinks his son is dead.
Yep.
Why would he want to come back here? You know what I mean?
But before all this, there's a beautiful moment with Galadriel and Theo, and she talks about her husband. Remember how I said this shows like
when they mentioned the husband, I was like, oh, okay, they're bringing that.
Yeah. So, what's his name? Celeborn, right?
Yeah.
So Cele in their language means silver. So when she called him a silver clan, like that was the last pun she made.
Okay.
Like I thought that was really cute. But like the whole thing, like just sharing with this was the most human we got to see Galadriel being.
Yeah.
Like sharing with her son. And what I like about this is because I told you in the lore, Galadriel's married at this time. So what's up with that? I love the idea that he's just missing.
She
we
never saw him again.
Right.
Yeah.
We can see him return.
Yeah.
So that'll be very interesting if they use him in season 2. But I loved it. I didn't know where they were going with having the two of them share screen time, and it actually was like very human, very touching, very sincere. I thought that was great.
She kind of pushes Theo in the direction of being a soldier now.
Yes.
She gives him her sword and says that he can keep it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. As when she leaves, she's like, "No, you keep it." I was like, and like
Yeah.
her sword is
elven
legend,
sword. Yeah,
but her sword
it's
is legendary.
legendary. Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm just like, "Yo, this kid better be spectacular with that sword."
Yeah.
Like, you know.
And then the other part of this episode is my favorite, Elrond and Durin.
Oh yeah, and the axe of Durin, which is also a legendary axe. I made notes about that too. Let's see. So Durin's axe is a legendary heirloom of the dwarves carried by King Durin himself, known as Durin the Deathless. It's been kept in Khazad-dûm until the kingdom finally fell in the Third Age, and even makes a brief appearance in a reference in the Lord of the Rings books when Gandalf is reading from the dwarvish record of Balin's attempt to retake Moria. So that's so cool that they're like, oh yeah, we got Durin, we got Durin's axe, we got the whole thing.
Yeah. So Durin goes to his father and pleads to his father to help Elrond and the elves. And just when you think he's about to, he tells them, "Nope, we're not helping the elves," which makes Durin very sad. But Elrond's very respectful about it. He's like, "All right, we'll still be friends no matter what." Blah blah blah. So he leaves, and the leaf that they showed the king that had all the black gook on it, Durin now has it, and he slides it across the table, and there's a piece of mithril on the end of the table, and when the leaf meets it, the black comes off of it. So it kind of changes Durin's mind that I've got to help Elrond.
Right, he's like, I will go against my father's wishes.
So they go down.
The wishes of your king.
Yeah. So they go down into the mountain, they dig, and they find a whole mine full of mithril.
Because the roots of that tree
Yeah.
that go into the earth is what birthed the mithril.
Yeah. And I love the connection between Elrond and Durin.
Like
The way Durin pleaded, he's like my own brother.
Their friendship is so pure.
Yeah.
Right? It's like they had a genuine connection.
Yeah.
It blossomed. The way he tells Durin, Elrond tells Durin, he's like, oh, you didn't need this alcohol to beat me. And he goes, what does that mean? I may have let you win so I could get your ear longer. He's like, an elf that thinks like a dwarf. And he's like, and you're a dwarf that thinks like an elf.
It was really, really cool. Yeah. And so they found that. Then the king shows up with his guards. He sees that his sons betrayed him. He has Elrond thrown out.
He just throw because they're not powerful enough to like do anything else. They throw him out of the
mountain. Durin's wife speaks to him and says, "You know what? We need to do this anyway because you're gonna be king one day. This is your moment. We're gonna do this anyway." And he agrees with her. And then it shoots back to the king, and he picks up the leaf that he sees, and he throws it into the hole, and he says, seal it up. And as the leaf falls, it hits the ground, and guess who we see? The Balrog has been at the bottom of the mountain. Because remember, he was the one responsible for...
He's part of the legend. Right, it's his dark energy connecting with the light elven magic energy that makes all of this happen.
Yeah. And then we see the Balrog. And that's the end of the episode. I thought this was a phenomenal episode.
It was phenomenal. I give it a 9.
I give it a 9 as well.
I don't know what it would take for me to give anything in this show a 10. I don't know why.
Oh, one last scene. Sorry. So they show a picture of the Southlands, and they have the letters of the Southlands up. And then when the Uruks go to Adar and say, "What are we going to call this land?" I kind of wanted him to say Mordor.
Yeah, he doesn't actually say it. You just watch the screen change. The
screen changes from the Southlands into Mordor, and I thought that was phenomenal. And end of the episode.
It was very good.
It was very good. All right, so what do you guys think? Leave your comment below. We'll be back next week for the season finale, correct?
Yeah, another season finale. Wait, actually, there's 7. Is there 8?
I think it's 8 episodes in this.
Good.
We'll be back for the season finale. Leave your comments below. Remember to like and subscribe. And for Cliff and myself and the rest of the Council of Comics, we'll see you next week. Peace.
Yeah. Shout out to Madness. Yeah. Rogue Nation 845. Bro.